Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Thank you for coming back. Today we're going to talk about wedding bands and wedding rings, engagement rings, those pieces that are purchased a year, 2 years in advance, and on the wedding day you get to see them in the element of the day, meaning the background, meaning the uplighting in the background and the flowers and all that other stuff like that on the actual wedding day. So stay tuned. I'm going to teach you how the best way to do it. Back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the wedding bands. We're going to talk about the engagement rings. We're going to talk about those very things that I like to capture part of the details of what they call it of during the day and during the wedding day. So keeping in mind everything that's going on is all important. You have to have your head on a swivel, meaning Uncle Bob's doing something over here, the bride and groom are over here, and something's happening over there, and staying in that constant communication with the DJ and the other vendors, photo booths and whatever, to make sure that everything is going according to plan and we're not missing something. And I say that because I did a wedding one time where I took the rings, started to do the things with the rings, and I put a macro lens on, I take my flash off, I put a tripod, and I get a couple of things situated over there. And the DJ never told me that they were about to do their father-daughter dance. All of a sudden, they start the father-daughter dance, and my second shooter is doing details outside with somebody else, and nobody's on the dance floor taking pictures of that. So stay in constant communication to make sure that you let the DJ know, hey, I'm going to be gone for about 10 minutes doing the ring. So please don't let anything happen until that part happens. So stay in communication with them. Say, hey, I'm going to be right over there, but I don't have the right equipment on. So give me a heads up before you're going to start and move on to anything, as far even cake cutting, anything like that. So stay in constant communication. That's my number one tip. Number two, the rings are just as important as the flowers, as the dresses, as the tuxes, the shoes, the socks, everything all the way through. So I like to do is I like to find out from the bride and groom. This is me. This is my personal opinion. Wedding bands and weddings are kind of like my specialty. It's definitely my niche where I love to take the attention to detail that it deserves. They're spending thousands of dollars on their wedding day, but they've already purchased thousands of dollars worth of gold and diamond and whatever it's going to be. So I like to personalize that. You take that much time to buy that rose gold or that 1 carat or a quarter carat or whatever it is, whatever you did, I'm going to capture it. So it's in setting of gold. Bands nowadays are not seeing too many gold bands anymore. I'm seeing more of the black rubber or more of the metal ones, whether it's the carbide or tungsten or whatever it is. So everything is different, which is what I really like because every wedding is different. So what I like to do is I like to find out, I'll text and say, hey, what is your favorite movies? What is your favorite series? What is your favorite things to do if it's hiking and things like that? And I'll kind of get a gist of a little bit of, most of the time it's like, oh, we love Harry Potter, or we like Star Wars or Mandalorian or Disney or anything else like that. And the reason why I like to know that ahead of time is I would not pick something that they don't like to do. Example, if they don't like Star Wars, I'm not going to do pictures with their rings in Star Wars. I'll show you why in a minute. So once I do know that they like Star Wars, what I do is I like to collect pops. And these are the pops that I like to collect. So this one happens to be a Stormtrooper, and it happens to be one of the first order. It's called an Executioner. I pick my pops based on position. Take a look at that. Right here. See that right there? I like to put the rings right inside of there. I got a little bit of blue clay, and I get it small enough just to put the rings on and put something, hold them tight where they're not going to fall down. So I put it on a tablecloth. Sometimes I'll get on the floor, depends on what it is. And I do it most of the time very simple. I've been getting a little elaborate with a couple of my last ones because I'm trying to go the extra mile. So with something like this, if they're Star Wars fans, I'll put the rings inside of there. I'll stop down. I put my macro lens on. I'm a Sony shooter, so I put my 90mm macro lens on there. I'll do 2.8 and then kind of get a small tripod or handheld, put it on there. I got 2 little Lume Cube lights that I tend to put on the side, or sometimes I'll even use my my flashlight from my cell phone. So it's simple in the fact that you want to isolate the top of the head of the object of whatever you're doing and the bottom. You're not looking up at the background. So I will not shoot that at f8. I will always be f4 or below, just to kind of incorporate the isolation of what it is. If you're in f8, you're focusing in the front, but you're going to be getting the background in there also, so you don't want any distractions in the background. So I can really stop it down. I like to almost like treat it like a black canvas, and then put my lights on and light up what I want to light up, okay? So when I find out that they are a Disney fan, one of my favorite ones to do is I've got a Mickey pop. Now, if you look at this one here, see the difference in the hand position? Very easy to put rings inside of here. Not so easy to put hands and rings right here. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to hook it right on here, point the diamond forward, put the clay on there forward, put the groom's ring on there. They're round. There's really nothing simple to them. Hang that right on there. Put a little bit of blue clay on there to hang it forward. Again, F4 or lower. Adjust my shutter speed, usually around 1/500th of a second. I don't need it for stop. I just want to block as much ambient light as I can. Then I bring my Lume Cube in or my flashlight and light up what I want to light up. Sometimes there's fairy lights in the background or something like that. So that's what I like to do with that. The reason I do that is the very first one I ever did, this bride and groom were Marvel fans. All right, if anybody knows about Marvel, you think about Thanos. Now look at that hand position right there. That is ideal for holding that. See that right there? Isn't that cool? So, hold on that. This is what I do for my bridal show. So I decided I was going to do the things with the rings, and all of a sudden I just took that right there, little bobbleheady thing right going on. Again, put the rings right inside of there. F4, F2.8, anything like that, just to kind of isolate it. And then this is what you end up getting. There was a fire pit right behind his head in the right corner over there. So it looked like flames. And you've got Thanos with the rings right inside of their hands. Now, here's the reason why I do that. Nobody else is. So what I like to do, everybody can take pictures with the flowers. Everybody can do the rings with the flowers and napkins and a few other little trinkety things, kind of thing like that. I'm always scoping the room all the time to figure out what I'm going to do, okay? So I did that one right over there. That is one of my centerpieces for my bridal shows, because you know what happens? 90% of the brides that come, it's with the bridesmaids. Maybe out of every 100 brides, there's 2 grooms. Very, very seldom. So when they come walking by and they really don't care about pictures, they just kind of like there for the support and whatever, they'll walk by like, oh my God, look at that. That is really, really cool. Hunters. I've done rings with 12 gauge shotgun shells, empty. Sometimes they're full. I've done pictures with 9mm shell casings, spent, so they've got a little dimple on the back side of it, so they're spent. Get my clay, make like a little pyramid, put them down on top of that. So there's it's endless possibilities. So the reason why I said this is I went to a wedding this weekend who was very Halloween styled, even dressed up as a Jedi at the end, kind of thing like that. So what I did was I looked around and they had this little skeleton holding each other, kind of like one of, and I'll show you in the picture. You're going to see, as I'm doing this, you're going to see pictures popping up that I've done with rings, traditional, non-traditional, and things like that. So I found this little thing. I went outside. So what I did was lined it all up, got what I wanted, made it look good, put a little, one of my roto lights in the back side of it, light it up this way here, put my Lume Cube on the front so I didn't have to go up too much on my ISO. Then atmosphere spray is what it's called. Kind of expensive. They don't ship it. I don't know what it is all about. So I'm using my can sparingly. And I just did a couple of shots of smoke. And it just kind of lingers. And as I'm doing this, you're going to see the pictures that are going to come up on the screen that I'm showing you exactly what I'm doing. So once I did all of that, focused on the rings, didn't move anything like that because the smoke could change your focus points. Remember that. That's tip number 2. So as the smoke's coming in, it gets like this eerie kind of thing like that. And then I went really, really on my white balance. I went really low on the numbers as far as making it cooler because I wanted a little bit of that coolness to the shot. When it's too warm, it doesn't look right when it comes to a skeleton. Skeleton is cold kind of thing like that. So it gives you that atmosphere look. So once I did a couple of shots of that, man, that was epic. So I had a bride that were Game of Thrones. So I went out and bought this $40 pop, just like this. It had the dragon and everything else like that. So I laid it down inside of the grass, put my roto light in the back side of that, got my camera all set up. I think I was on F4, and I put the rings with clay inside the mouth of the dragon. Okay? Whatever guy was up on the top, I don't even know anything about Game of Thrones. So the guy's up on the top, focused on that, and you're going to see this in the picture. And this is the shot that I got. Once I added that atmosphere, wow, that changed everything. So tip number 4, find something that they're into. If they're not into Game of Thrones, don't do pictures with Game of Thrones, dragons, or anything like that. If they don't like Marvel, don't do Thanos. If they don't like Disney, don't do Mickey. Find out what they're looking for. And I'm just talking about an example of pops, just pops. They could be bikers. Okay, so let's say they're into BMXing. Okay, well then you got to be a little bit more creative when it comes to that. But find something with like BMX gloves, or even their bike. You can literally take their rings and put it on their bike tire and take pictures of their bike tire, shows the knobbies on the tire kind of thing. So you can kind of step outside the box when it comes to that. And what they're going to do is you're going to be very creative with that. They're going to see that you have that creativity. And then I'm going to be doing another one this weekend with Invicta. I'll show you that one coming up too. So with that being said, find those things that can connected to the bride and groom, Disney, Marvel. Find something. Be creative when it comes to the rings. F4 or below. Watch your ISO for noise and watch that shutter speed. So if you want to be at 2.8, you can't be shooting at 1/125th of a second. It's going to let in too much light. So go to that 1/250th, 1/400, 1/500. Reduce that light if you want to keep that shallow depth of field to blur out the background, and then add the light in the front or in back, add the atmosphere, whatever you want. If you guys come up with something that's different than what I'm saying, put your comments down below. If you like the content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. So I'm trying to be a little bit less in the studio and making a YouTube channel. I want to be a little bit more spontaneous. Like, you know what? We're going to talk about rings today. You know what? We're going to talk about this, whatever it's going to be. So this is what I'm going to do. So Thanos, anything like that, keep that in mind. Go by the tips. Put comments in the below. Show me your pictures in below about things that you've created with rings that are kind of outside the box. Meaning, there's nothing wrong with flowers. There's nothing wrong with those things that part of that. Don't get me wrong. But experiment a little bit. Go a little bit outside of that box and try and figure out, I wonder if this is going to look pretty good. And it might not. And if it doesn't, go to the ring and go to the flowers, and you still have that. Nobody's the wiser. So I've been hired purposely because of my creativity with my rings. With that being said, listen to the tips that I have below, comment below, hit that like button, and hit that bell for notifications. Subscribe to the channel is greatly appreciated. I'm just trying to get those information out there, that how I started and how I've gotten to the point that I am right now. And no matter what you're going through, always keep trying. And remember, keep smiling. It hurts less. Peace.